Have to come to terms with reality. I am neither obsessive or compulsive. When you work is a labor of love. When you do what is right, okay, so we can all live in accordance to the natural laws provided by an infinite essence for us to have a holy covenant eternity through. Then you're working, right? So there's very few people in the world today and throughout time that actually work. Okay, there's Jesus, there's Earl, there's Haile Selassie. There's very few people in the world that are actually working. Other people, it's all about me and money and fame and how I manipulate people with money to feel influential and famous. Okay, Great Caesar's ghost. Holy Pharaoh's big monuments of insanity that destroy the ecosystem because of your lunacy. Look, it's another metropolis, right? So there are very few people in the world like Tiro Suzuki, Senya Sin, and myself that actually work. Okay, most people are either inventing the conditions to feel powerful and in delusions of human authority, or subjugating themselves to that because they look to the devil and Satan for approval. Did I do good? Am I an excellent fucker? Am I on TV? Am I Andy Warhol? Am I still stuck in Devontae Swing's basement? Flip it and reverse it. Right. So, do you understand? So, there are very few people in the world that actually work. Most of it is excessive compulsive behaviors because you have a brain chemical addiction to your ego, and you don't have the humility enough to go, okay, I'm dropping out of college. This philanthropy stuff is genocidal. I'm not going to become a professional basketball player. They'll do anything to get the money to have sex with the woman who's superficial and shallow and wearing Prada, right? And I won't, I want to love and be loved by a woman like Khadijah, Ruth, or Esther, and I will settle for nothing less. Okay. When I married my wives and I got engaged, I wanted them, law, just come out and be, please come to Fayetteville to live until further notice. My grandma's people were Kramers and had to run from ancient Germany because they were liquidating their assets because of their Jewish ancestry. Please don't be like that. Just come out and love me to the best of our ability. And then when I married Stephanie, said she was trying to act like, but she was just trying to get back and be better than law and turn me into her ha 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 at family reunions instead of stand up and just, no, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Don't get into it with law. Don't think about you all the time. Think about Patrick. Think about the love we're going to live through our son. Being a faithful, loving person too, but she couldn't do that. And then it affected our son. And now our son acts more like Stephanie than he acts like me because he felt he had to protect his mother. But the thing about it is the only way to protect your mother is don't act like your mother. Right? Andre told me that last night in prayer. He had me drop down to the original 8. I said, but I won't have you or your mom's photographs on here. He goes, I got it taken care of, our dad. Okay. You don't have to have everybody in the room to protect everybody on the planet because you're not God. You're sounding a lot like your grandma Mary Ann, who is his grandma. Right? And so I don't want to. Still haven't gotten my cake, my plastic cake cover back from the Gilliards. Kay kept it. I don't. Every time you send something, I send something over to that house. It never comes back, Earl. It's like, okay, I understand not lending money, but I don't have enough plastic cake cover, Tupperware cake covers things to keep handing them out to everybody in the Gilliard's house. I was like, okay, Mom. Told you to stay away from that family. Ma. And then they're all critical of Mom. She did this wrong. She did that wrong. Okay, what about you and your mother? What are you doing there? I know that them and their mom, I know that Stephanie does a lot of things more selfish and a lot of things worse than Marianne did. Okay, Marianne had her selfish points. Okay, but for the most part, she tried her best to be a good kid. But if you were mean to her, she didn't want shit to do with you. And she didn't want, if you were abusing her kids because you were selfish, she didn't want you around her kids and she didn't want you back. Okay, so my mom had every good reason not to like the girls that were mean to me. And what Mom wanted me to marry Miriam Delegro Montalvo. Mom was like, Earl, you are being stupid. You need to dump law, and you need to go with Miriam, and you need to go back and marry her. And then when I went back, Miriam was being stupid and was with fucking Tito having sex with and I couldn't talk her into, Mom told me, and I tried, but Miriam, no. And then Miriam went and married Raphael and said I was never going to, if I ever got the good one again, I wasn't going to lose him. And he kills people for the military. He's special forces in the army. Okay, I won't kill people for the military. I'll turn around, look at them and say, Tom Cruise wants to be me in his wet dream nightmares. Yeah, okay. I'll gladly kill you for free. I don't want to kill anybody, but I will protect the children from people that kill over money or kill because they have ego problems because they can't understand the Lord's Prayer and live it worldwide. Right? Okay. Not Ken Watanabe, not a Scientology movie, not Dave Miscavige's imagination loose in my house in Santa Fe, right? Oh, trust me, I know what the hell I'm doing. Okay. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you are so arrogant, so pretentious, and so stupid, you might as well have 3 PhDs, 2 doctorates, and be the top psychologist in the history of M. Night Shyamalan movies. Right? Or have as much money as Samuel Jackson and keep yelling at, what's the name of that motherfucking M. Night Shyamalan, yeah, that Peckerwood on the Pussy Plantation? When you go write that next fucking movie, I need more fucking money. God, what a bunch of assholes. Yeah, they are. Okay. And if they don't know they're assholes, and you like, hey, I like his movies, why do you like somebody pretending to be an asshole over asshole money and keep going back and watching more of it? I used to could, but it's when it's like I went to college. And then when I was getting ready to graduate, I was like, this economics is genocidal, and they have no intention on stopping it. So I dropped out and thought, maybe I'll come back later when they change. And then I realized, no, if it's going to change, I have to do it. They told me that. Igor Tovar in Sierra Vista. Earl, you always wanted to be a teacher and a coach. And we believe in Mexico that the people in Mexico being abused that have no access to public, whatever, that watch these on the down low. We all believe that you are him, from the guy from the book of Revelation. We believe it. Okay. We just cannot, like I've talked to some of the people at Walmart, so, no, if we could trend it, if we could share it, we would. But we can share your videos about as much as you can. Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I had people watch my videos in Sierra Vista right off the bat and said, I have no sound. I go watch your videos, but they have no sound. Wow. So these are genocidal operations set up to kill people that want to play games with people's lives with science projects and money. Okay, and I've known that since Jump Street. Why do you keep loading? Why did Jesus give the Sermon on the Mount? Why did Muhammad go to Mecca, Medina, and perform the Hajj to Mecca? Okay. Why do good people get up and do the right thing so we can all live righteously? You don't ask me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? That's the more pertinent question, isn't it? You're an asshole fighting over the devil's money and asking if the devil's proud of you. Okay. Me? I'm standing up for the Lord's Prayer, being abused by the devil, while you do nothing except sit there and go, he's crazy. He thinks he's God, right? Okay, do you understand? So, I know what I'm doing. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. It is wrong to acquit the guilty and deny justice to the innocent. The poor plead for mercy, and the rich answer with insults. And the wealthy are fools who perceive their wealth as a high wall of safety. I chose those. I didn't choose those 3 proverbs individually. I was being manipulated by military intel. They presented them and then said they think they chose them. Yeah, you did. Okay. So you chose your form of execution. You chose your commands to be executed because you would not be faithful and you have no honor. Okay, Last Samurai. Do you understand? So you chose. You had no free will. You poor bastard, you are going to be you whether you chose to be you or not. Here he comes. Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's going to chasing after someone. He's coming out. Yeah, that's what happened. Don't trust your life, Snow. Backwards summer lawyer. They have southern lawyers in Japan and China too. Backwoods, they have woods there too. Okay. Yeah. I love Taro Suzuki and Sonya Sin. They're so fun. Don't you love these guys? Go on, Charlie Chan. Okay, thanks, Mr. Moto. They're just like, they will tell you they're just like me. Okay? They will tell you, okay, what they did, okay, what they're doing, and what they're going to do, and why they're doing it. Just like Jesus Christ in the Bible. Just like Daniel and Joseph and Mom, just like Saladin. And that's a Ridley Scott movie. It's a television commercial. Everyone's always after your Lucky Charms. Well, I would always laugh when I say that, right? Propaganda is as propaganda does. The Gospels are lived by the righteous. Propaganda is not the Gospels. And propaganda is sealing yourself in hell, denying the Gospels. Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's gonna be chasing after someone. He's coming after you, so you better look alive. He's Betty Resin up the powerful Mach 5, and when the odds are against him and there's dangerous work to do, you can bet your life Speed Racer will see it through. He's like a demon as he drives guns a car around the track. He's pressing down the pedal like he's never coming back. Adventure's waiting just ahead. Everybody channel your inner Bob Cummins did it because he knows the words. Go, Speed Racer. Go, Speed Racer. Go, Speed Racer, go. Always felt weird at school. Because when I did my thing, all the kiddos at school, my friends, did you stay up and watch Godzilla versus Mothra and stuff like that? Did you stay up and watch this? No, I stayed up and watched the NBA playoffs, or I stayed up and watched Dorothy Dandridge and Tamango. Why don't you have a crush on Dorothy Dandridge? Okay, that was more my thing. I didn't sit there and say, no, I watched Dorothy Dandridge and Tamango. It's a movie where she's a slave on a slave ship to William Holden. She falls in love with one of the guys who's the slave cargo, who's absolutely gorgeous. Yaphet Kotto's in it. He plays the other guys that she has a crush on's best friend, right? And they all end up getting killed at the end of the movie because they'd rather live free or die. Okay, that's what I watched last night. I don't know about others. No, they watched Mothra and Godzilla, Godzilla and the Smog Monster and all that stuff. And no, me, I watched movies where people were trying to. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. And so here I am in Halliburton Central, like I be until further notice. Someday soon. I used to get all grumpy and think, oh boy, the technology's got to kill all these people. Now it's just like they're already dead. You calm down once they, when they rape you every day for almost 60 years for being a better person than them eternally, right? It's like when my mom with the Jewish guilt trip, Damn it, Earl, I came home. And it was like, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm here on leave and I was with my girlfriend. And I'm sorry Patrice never does any chores and never helps you. And never thinks of you. I'm sorry. She's been this way our whole lives. And if you would have called me and I would have known, I would have done it for you. But I didn't know and I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't being selfish. It's just, I've been busting my ass in the military. I got back home. I have all these girls asking me for sex in Fayetteville. And I say no because I'm with law and law's out screwing another. I know. Trust me. And it's entirely tangible that mine in law's son that did not miscarriage, that she had aborted and was extracted and plugged into a computer knows the truth of his mom and his dad. Okay? That dad didn't screw around and had gorgeous women ask him to leave Yolanda and be with her because they'd be a better wife, because they'd appreciate me more. And Miriam would have tried more than Law, because Law was spoiled. And Miriam was not. Miriam was betrayed by her father because he tried to have sex with her, because she was more physically desirable to him than her mother. I'm like, that's horrible. I know it is horrible. Okay? You raise your daughter to be with a man who's faithful to your daughter the same way you're faithful to her mother, right? Like I tried to do with Amy, with Natalie, but I didn't get that. And I still don't get that. I don't get that from the men in my life. Right. I'll do the right thing, but no one else will, and then he thinks he's all that. Well, since I'm the only one that will do the right thing and you won't, then yeah, I am all that. Okay, I'm the only one standing up to protect Amy and Natalie from the perverts in the military, and you won't do it. And then you're like, oh, well, you say you're like King David and Moses and Jesus, and I'm not. And because I proved it, and you haven't. Okay, you say you don't have to be like King David and Jesus. You say King David and Jesus did it for you, and I agree. You're not like King David and or Jesus, and King David and Jesus have to do it for you. So in order for you to live in the kingdom of heaven, where our daughters and our wives are protected by pervert scientists that have linguistics on pieces of paper that are called laws by perverts, peckerwoods on a pussy plantation, I totally agree with you. All right. The only person that's going to keep your sons from being El Chapo, the president, and a general, and admiral, and General Jack Keane, and I don't care, on Fox News, and John Daly on the Daily Show is me. Right? I'm the only guy who can do it. Okay, maybe my son Andre and even Uriah too now could get up and do it, but they can't because they're plugged into a supercomputer. They can't pick up a cell phone and go on YouTube. They're in a restricted, classified area of probably the Huachuca Mountains, plugged into a computer. Okay. They don't have the free will to get up and say, hey, Halliburton's going to do things with chemicals to make me uncomfortable, have sex with my wife with guys with bigger dicks at Fort Huachuca, have it put on underground chat rooms, and everybody laugh, ha, ha, ha. They were better at fucking my wife than I was at fucking my wife. But Amy, after she got fucked by all the guys with old Nate Reynolds and all that stuff, she went around and told the whole town the best sex I ever had with my life that night after I got fucked by all Nate Reynolds guys was with my husband Ralphie. Best sex she ever had was with me. And she didn't get to enjoy it because she was sexually groomed and abused by people like Nate Reynolds, Antoine Levino, Michael Aquino, and all the people that are responsible for the Epstein files, which is everybody who keeps voting for president and cares more who wins American Idol than cares about living the Lord's Prayer, who cares more about Survivor and The Biggest Loser, and who's going to get the $1 million, and who righteously gives a fuck because the Lord's Prayer is perfect and I'm the living embodiment of it, right? Okay, so I'm uncomfortable, and I'm going to be uncomfortable until further notice because you guys suck and you're peckerwoods on a pussy plantation, you're a bunch of perverts. Okay. Natalie was talking about the people that put the images in our heads that were dreams that were all sexually driven that me and her were having to deal with when we were in Sierra Vista, because she talked to me about the same things about Patrick. And I was like, that's not how a young girl thinks. No, they don't think about sexuality and all that stuff. No. When the sex thing came up about Susie, is because all my friends were giving me a hard time. I was going through puberty. But I was still, every time I was with her, I was hoping it would lead to sex because, I was going through puberty. But the thing was, when she would talk to me, half the words she said to me were missing because my mind was so intent on kissing. I couldn't help it. All my hormones were going, she has the prettiest lips and the biggest brown eyes and her hips and digital display, and she's with me and she chose me, and I couldn't help it. It was just everything was coming at me at once, and I didn't know how to control it. And I didn't have any controls at home because the virtual presence of Gordon B. Hinckley and Ezra Tapp Benson in my bedroom, and the papacy, and the Pentagon. Okay. If they hadn't been in my bedroom, I would have been a lot more like I was with Tara. But I learned my lesson with Susie. With Tara, we'd get into heavy petting, and then I would go, okay. And it was Mr. Winfrey who kept, did she give you any yet? That's not appropriate, sir. I used to tell him all the time, that's not an appropriate question, and that's none of your business. I would tell him that. Okay, that was her stepdad. Jesse never asked me that. Jesse never disrespected his daughter. She was embarrassed because Jesse was a drug dealer and a pimp, and Uncle Alvin wasn't. But Jesse never disrespected me, and he always was respectful to me and always respectful about my mom and my family and stuff. And I never, he was stupid about his fucking Cadillac, yeah. Every time you do that with one of these motherfuckers, you end up hitting my car. And I was like, and I didn't understand why Tara was so embarrassed. So there's nothing, Jesse, Alvin's not doing anything wrong. Yeah, but Jesse is worried more about his fucking car than his brother Alvin, who's protecting everybody from a bigot. And it was embarrassing Tara, and she wanted to leave. And I was telling her, and I didn't get it. I wasn't, oh shit, yeah, Jesse is being an ass. He's sitting there over by his car. Yeah, Alvin, every time you do this, you mess up my car. And Alvin's sitting there fighting for his life against a guy that physically didn't mind if he killed a nigger. Okay? And Alvin's trying to protect everybody from that guy. He was a professional wrestling champion from the state of Iowa. Okay, from the University of Iowa. Greco-Roman wrestling champion. Okay? The man was about 6 feet tall and about 245 pounds of solid muscle. I'm 6 foot tall, fat, and okay, this guy's arms were as big as my thighs. And he was trying to physically hurt Alvin, trying to get him into a physical contact. Alvin had had to have his hands and feet registered at the police department as lethal weapons because he caught taekwondo. So the guy kind of knew what he was doing. He thought he could take him. Oh, he was wrong. He got his ass kicked. That man got beat senseless. Alvin was, when I'm in good shape, Alvin was 6 foot buck 90. Okay, so when I challenged the U.S. military, I was a little thinner than Alvin. Alvin was a little more thicker than me. It's just his genetics. Alvin was about 6 foot, a buck 95. That guy was about 6 feet tall and close to about, like I said, 240, 245, 250, all solid muscle. They were both solid muscle. Okay, but the one 50 pounds lighter was quicker and knew how to use his feet without the other guy being able to grab his feet and keep his distance from him and let the other guy attack and then use his attack to make him beat himself up with his own attack. Yeah, that's what Alvin did. He just wham! Same thing I would have done to Mr. Johnson in the weight room at Deer Valley High School and Antoine and anybody else and Jack Krasinski and Tom Cruise and Denzel Washington and Edward Norton and every other peckerwood on the pussy plantation pretending to be these child molesting, mind raping, murdering assholes that are in close proximity to me, having somebody spray chemicals to agitate my chemical poisoning because of verbal contracts agreed to, written down by the Supreme Court called the court that the Pentagon does everything that they, as the dogs that they point everybody at, you know what I'm saying? I understand how these assholes work. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. So you understand? So you hear that whirl of the chemical compounds with the fertilizer that cause allergies in me, that get all the chemicals in that were put in by your government to depress me to death and make me sick and die from cancer. You realize I'm the guy like Adam Moses, Jesus, John, saving your children from your competition addiction to mass murder over money that you call the Constitution, that you say was inspired by God, and it's your manifest destiny and your divine right to live free or die, and your perception of live free or die is fight and kill over money, and completely deny the Messiah and act like he doesn't exist, and have the CIA and NASA try to murder him in New Mexico, put it out publicly, and everybody deny it and ignore it and act like it's not happening. So I know exactly what I'm doing. I know how to correct artificial general intelligence and quantum computing. I know how to take what's perceived as the mind put on a computer and put a little bit of soul, not a little bit of soap. A little bit of soap. I gotta write that down. I gotta get that one. A little bit of soap will never wash. I thought it was the Drifters, but I don't think it is. But I also damn you all to hell. Okay, and your bibbity boppity boos. No, I'm doing everything in my ability, and The best I can do is absolutely gorgeous and amazing, and I've been doing it publicly on YouTube for 16 years. And I've never seen a more gorgeous, consistent, beautiful, faithful, loving man in my life. Okay. Suzuki is passed away. Haile Selassie's passed away. Judah Krishnamurti has passed away. Okay, I'm talking about in my life, I love you more. Okay, do you understand? I'm talking about my life. I'm talking about right here, right now. Okay? Jesus passed away. Muhammad passed away. Okay? Saladin has passed away. That's an actor pretending for Ridley Scott for fuck money. That guy, the Gospel of John, the Passion of Christ, that's Jim Caviezel pretending to be Mel Gibson's imagination for money. Okay, it's not as gorgeous and as beautiful and protecting and kind and brave as me. Okay, the ghost of Earl you see in these videos is more beautiful than you've ever been in your wretched fucking life. Don't you ever forget that. I am giving everything I have so your children can inherit the Lord's Prayer and the perfection of it for the faith of Psalms, and is saying it with wisdom of Proverbs worldwide forevermore. I'm the only Are you doing it? Is Mel Gibson doing it? Jim Caviezel doing it? Mark Wahlberg doing it? No, it's me. And right now I'm Space Ghost, and there's Zorak, and there's Brack. Brack is no longer voiced by Key Luke. Okay. It's funny. I know it's funny. One tale is a happy space pirate looting and pillaging. Next thing you know, dumb as a doornail. Brett came up with that before. Okay. Oh, Brett. But yeah. So yeah. No, I will always love Patrick. I can't tell you if I'm talking to shadows and memories of Uriah and Andre and Vanessa, and if they've already been shut down, or if they're actually still alive, plugged in those computers. And the whole thing with the whole connection to, what was his name? Elon Musk, that they could take tissue from these people and clone them, and they could be that would be really hard. I don't know. They would have to make a decision. How would you, if you've been able to plug into people's brains through a computer program, through Wi-Fi, because you're plugged into a computer, and they give you that sinister capacity against your will, would you want to, be walking around, be cloned, and then have a barbecue and have all these people that were manipulated and abusive because they were tendency to be abusive and addicted to it in the Temple Set Illuminati, and have them all meet you? Would you guys want to meet Andre at a barbecue? Would you want to meet Uriah and Vanessa? Bum, 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 bum. Today was to be, and every day on that every year on that very day in September, she lights a... Tell Vanessa you're sorry. No, it's she wasn't cloned as a baby. This is her age now. She just got, that's her body. It doesn't have the little plug-in things like Neo and all that stuff. That's a clone of the body that was plugged into a computer to, be virtually present, to get you to do the things that the computer operators through corporations called religions wanted you to do. You took this child and raped it. You plugged its spinal column and made it physically incapable of living a normal life and got its brain to do exactly what you wanted its brain to do, or you tortured it even more. You want to meet him? Tom Cruise. You want to? Will Smith? Jada? Chris Rock? All the cast of Abbott and Elementary? Swatting those kids' shots and laughing about it? You want to meet the clone of Andre, Uriah, and Vanessa, if they make it through this hell and they don't get exterminated because artificial general intelligence replaces them to tell quantum computing what to do properly? You want to do that? Does that sound like something real fun? Sound like a good plan for it's Saturday and there's nothing better to do, all you King missiles out there? Right? What type of human being are you? Yeah, I can tell you this for sure. You are not the living word. You're not the gracious good shepherd. You're not the Messiah. And you're not worthy of keeping fellowship with him, playing basketball with him in a basketball barn, and hugging him and kissing him and telling him how beautiful he is and going to bed with him every night and waking up with him every morning, brushing your teeth with him, planting a garden with him, and having cantaloupe and strawberry ambrosia parties with him? No. Kate was, but you stole Kate away. Emmy was, but you stole her away. Natty was, but you stole her away. Noah was, but you stole him away. Crummy was, I only got him for a couple of months, but you stole him away. Amy tried, but you tortured the hell out of her. Steffi tried, and you tortured the hell out of her. Miriam tried. Everybody that tried, you tortured the hell out of them or killed them. You are evil people. But at least, Francesca, there's no evidence to show that Moses even exists. Well, now we have quantum computing. Yeah. No, there's evidence to show that Earl exists and how perfect and beautiful the Messiah really is when he's a human being and not a comic book character in your fucked up little selfish head, right? All right, I love you guys. Let's load this one up and you keep showing that ass. I'll keep kicking it until further notice. And then when we're living the Lord's Prayer, you're welcome eternally. Adam, Moses, Jesus, John, thanks, you're welcome. I know. Okay, peace out.